Hi everybody, welcome back to Mando Lessons. This is the fourth and final lesson in the double stop series over at mandolessons.com. The first three kind of worked through a couple tunes. We did, what is the name of that tune? Flop-Eared Mule and The Hare and the Corn, and worked a little bit with sort of adding in drone notes below. And then also working through kind of thinking about fiddle tunes in terms of chords. Etc. So if those are of interest to you and haven't seen them yet, go over to mandolessons.com. It's the double stop series. This lesson, I'm just going to talk a little bit about music theory and sort of talk about why double stops work. So what I would recommend is, if you haven't already, check out there's a lesson over at mandolessons.com about how to build chords. And we talk about the 1, 3, and 5 of a G chord, for example. So go up the G scale. G, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have a G is the 1, B is 3, D is 5. Rearrange those notes, and you get a chord. So if you haven't watched that lesson, maybe it might be broken into 2 lessons, but if not, go check that out. It'll kind of help you think about and get you a little more familiar with what I'm going to be talking in this lesson. If you enjoy these lessons, there's a couple ways to donate over at mandolessons.com. It's always appreciated, but not necessary by any means. So it's all about the music, so don't worry if it's not in the cards right now. So double stops in terms of theory. So let's use more blanking on the name of this tune. Flop-Eared Mule. Which we worked on in the first 2 parts of the double stop lesson, double stop series, sorry. So looking at some of these double stops we were using the A and D strings as kind of open drones. And the chord that would normally get played underneath that would be is D and A, or D and A chords, sorry. And the notes of a D chord are D, 1, 2, 3, F sharp, G, A is 5, 1, 3, 5, D, F sharp, A. So the D and the A, the first and fifth, are what we're using as drone notes. And then our melody happens to start on the third, the F sharp. And so we kind of get that little bit of a D chord without the low note. So the first couple notes that we play, F sharp, then D, and then an A, are kind of a little arpeggio out of D. A, D, F sharp, D, A. So the A and D are really nice. The root and the fifth of any given chord that you'd be playing over. Are going to be nice kind of neutral sounds. So if you're thinking about the fretboard and starting to work on double stops in different keys, aim for the root and the fifth. So if you're playing in B flat, for example, good sort of notes that aren't going to get in the way and that are going to sound good for double stops are going to be a B flat and an F, which are the root and fifth of a B flat chord. The third will also work. It's a bit stronger of a note. So if you really kind of add in a big strong third, such as an F sharp in the key of D, it'll take over a little bit, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's good to be aware of. F sharp is kind of the D and A of a D chord are really kind of neutral sounds and will work nicely as drones. The F sharp will work. It's a little stronger, as I said. So keep that in mind. But really the 1 and 5 are what you're aiming for. And as I was talking about in previous lessons, kind of keeping the melody out as the sort of strongest part of the tune. So don't really wail on the D and A strings, and let your melody kind of sink into the background, because then people won't be able to tell what chord you're playing, or sorry, what tune you're playing. They'll know what chord you're playing. So really, thinking about, this transfers over into, like I was talking about with the Hare and the Corn, in the third lesson in this series, where you can kind of work on tunes. So Hare and the Corn kind of floats around this B, A, G, A, B, with strong notes on the B. So it's a lot of B, and the B, for example, is the third in a G chord. G, A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, G, B, D, 1, 3, 5. So that sort of gives it away. If we say, okay, Hare and the Corn's in the key of G, and we're playing a B, it's probably going to be a G chord. And it looks like a little part of that G shape. So you can approach it from music theory, you can approach it from sort of familiar shapes in your left hand. There's a bunch of ways of going about it. The magic is it all kind of works itself out. And then as we go through, we have that G chord, and we have that strong A note. And there's no A in the key of G, there's no A in a G chord. We have G, B, and D. And the other chords we have are C. There's no A in a C chord. It's C, D, E, F, G, C, E, G. And the other chord that we use in the key of G for 1, 4, and 5 chords is a D chord, which has D, F sharp, and A, like we were talking about earlier. So that's an A. And if our melody ends on an A, it probably means it's going to be a D chord. So we have this G, nice strong A on the downbeat, good place to throw in a D chord, part of a D chord. If you throw in the high string, the second fret on the E string, which is an F sharp, that's that third, and it kind of takes over. So you want to leave off the E string. It's a higher note and it's a third, so it'll really kind of stick out. So stop at the A string, open A string. And you have A, D, and A. A on the G string, open D string, open A string. So again, that's all roots and fifth of the D chord. The root being the D, the fifth being the A. And so it's a nice kind of neutral sound. Nothing sticks out. I can throw in the F sharp below, and that now becomes A, F sharp, and open D, and it still works, But there's something about, and this is again a little bit of a personal preference, that F sharp kind of sticks out and muddies up the melody just a little bit to my ear. So I tend to just aim for that open chord. Versus just root and fifth, and that's at the third. And both are totally right. They're both D chords. You got D, A, and D. It's a D chord without a third in it. And then we have D, F sharp, A, F sharp, A, which is a D chord without a D in it, oddly enough. It's a different sound. Once you get familiar with what note should go with what chord, you can start throwing in different double stops. So say anywhere there's a D, an A, or an F sharp in reach for that shape, I can try to grab it. So that last little phrase, we have that G. So the melody's the A. So that should really stay on top. So as I said, we have that first D and A chord. We have it with the F sharp. Another option, just kind of off the top of my head, would be 7th fret on the G string, which is a D. 4th fret is that F sharp, and then open A. It's a different sound, and it really, again, there's no right or wrong choice at this point. It's just different options for you. So I'll play those three together, just sort of show you how they sound differently. So that's the first one, second, third, first, 2 open open, second, 2 4 open, and third, 7 4 open. So play around, find these different little chord clusters on the instrument for any given melody note, and have fun with it. Work out different chords for the same idea. So another one, just to give one more example, and then I'll let you go. Let's go to the B section of Hare and the Corn. So we have that big C chord. And I initially taught just sort of playing through that big first basic C chord. So that's using G, which is the fifth of C of a C major chord, because C major chord is C, D, E, F, G. Sorry, C, D, E, F, G, C, E, G, C major chord. So we have a G in the bass, an E on the second fret of the D string, a C on the third fret of the A string, and an open E is our melody. And so we have that third in the chord, and as I said, as a personal preference, I kind of try to stay away from thirds, as they stick out a little bit more. So I changed that C chord to G in the bass, 5th fret on the D string, which is a G. So we have G, G, and then 3rd fret on the A string is a C, and then our open E is our melody. So it's a slight difference. We have that's with the third, or this shape is without the third. Sorry. And again, it's a slight difference, but it's good to play around with it. I guess you could also throw in a C in the bass. So 5 is the C, 5 on the G string is a C, 5 on the D string is an G, C on the 3rd fret of the A string, and melody is an E. So going through those three, we have the basic C chord shape. And then we have the C chord shape without the third. And then we have the C chord with the 5 in the bass, or sorry, the 5th fret in the bass, which is the root C in the bass. Kind of thins the chord out a little bit because you don't have that low G. And again, they're just different sounds. So once you get familiar with sort of figuring out what the 1, 3, and 5 of any given chord should be, those are all great options to use in adding in double stops. And again, a lot of times they're going to be open strings just because of the keys that fiddle tunes are in, but you can also go through and grab chord tones and add them into your melody as nice double stops. So that's all for now. Thanks again for watching. A lot more lessons over at mandolessons.com, and hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.